the beginning of our discussion seems to be hinging on is how people are moving from Fox News, which to most people, which, it has been pulled out, to most people seems right enough. And I mean right as in right leaning.
Right.
But somehow these are groups that are further than that. I mean, specifically, we're going to talk about OANN and Newsmax. And it's very compelling to know that Newsmax, for instance, has been around since 1998, a lot of these companies seem to have just popped out of nowhere, but they're instead kind of rooted in thinking this way and actually causing change or causing conservatism to occur really in this country. So that's what I found most interesting about a lot of the things that we researched for this kind of topic.
Yeah, it's not really like a normal conservatism either. It's like a super far right, kind of like fascist kind of mentality, and a lot of crazy things that have been spewed out of their organization. That's kind of getting me scared at the fact that normalcy is not going to be normal for a while. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're taking it up a notch. They say that progressives are taking things up a notch for the left. But I think at least our views as a progressive view is more better for the people. It's more here. They're like, for some people that claim that they hate government so much, it seems like they want the government to kind of do like some really extreme things here and there with people. Well, I guess we'll see in a minute. It seems like they
Well,
want to
I
overturn elections and stuff. Which is kind of crazy. But go
it's
ahead.
no, it's very important. Like the kind of the structure, especially for there's differences between ONN and Newsmax, and
Hmm.
I won't break it down too far yet. We'll kind of just do individual ones for each one.
Hmm.
But for instance, Newsmax already has a demographic that they wanted their online viewers to be in the 54.7 years of age kind of bracket. So
Yeah.
their target really is to really get an audience that is older and over the top. So let's just read from it. Was in March 2014, Newsmax was profiled in Bloomberg Business Week by correspondent Carl Tao Greenfield. The story detailed Newsmax's successful business model of targeting higher income baby boomers. The average age of Newsmax online readers is 45.7 years age, and the profile detailed Newsmax's plans to launch a linear and over-the-top content cable channel, which they're succeeding with right now.
Hmm.
It's available in roughly 70 million cable TV homes. Newsmax is on a hiring splurge right now, Rudy said. And the network is adding 25 more employees since the election to bring its total workforce to 175. Sorry, 275. I know for a fact that I've seen these different jobs being available right now. Newsmax and even Fox are both hiring pretty consistently. So it tells you that there's a health in that market for them, not for the population, but for at least for them.
Yeah, they seem to be like just in general right wing, uh, like people following right wing stations seems to have definitely expanded recently or whatever. It's interesting. Like I think Trump has definitely like converted a lot of Republicans to being more far extreme right than anything else. It seems like all they talk about is how bad the left is, and just lie a lot. I don't know. The videos that we brought together like kind of show some of the crazy things that people have been saying, and like in order to confuse, what's the word, in order for
Confuse
people to,
people. I mean,
yeah, it's like it's just like some of the stuff that they're saying is just super extreme. I don't know, for some reason my headphones are like bothering me today. um More about
yeah, yeah. I mean, we should see where their minds are at. The one lasting thing I would say about Newsmax, for instance, is that it has jumped 68% since the U.S. presidential election as the channel refused to declare Joe Biden the winner. So that number is not known to be permanent. It says that the primetime viewership for the week that ended December 4th was down to 21% from 2 weeks earlier, averaging about 391,000 viewers. So that's a pretty good fall for them. So that tells you that they may not be able to maintain that type of audience.
Yeah.
In the end, I think people will fundamentally fall back into screw the government. The government can't work for me, but I don't have enough patience to just talk to deal with it and be entrenched in politics.
Yeah.
I think enough people, even on the left, have this kind of feeling right now, and it's causing centrism as well. But that's not the problem, really. The real problem is that there are a lot of people who are not voting for the causes that will affect them and affect
It,
their families, and affect others.
it seems like also like they don't seem nowadays when it comes to being honest, like the honesty aspect of journalism seems to be like getting lower and lower. The bars getting lower and lower, and they're doing things more towards their lobbyists or their base just to appease them instead of being straight honest about what exactly is going on with this election and everything else with COVID and everything else. It's like a twilight zone to me. It's kind of crazy. I'll cut to the first video.
Rally, like I think we had 41,000 people the other night in Florida, right, on one-day notice. Last night in Pennsylvania, we had 20,000 people, one-day notice. Biden goes out, he's got 20 people, literally 20 people. They have nobody. And then I say, always tied in the polls. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But I had the same thing 4 years ago. You're a witness to it, where I was down in all 9 states, swing states, and I won every one of them, right? Because the media is corrupt. If I've done nothing else, it's I've convinced people how corrupt the media is, and I'm not including you. And by the way, I'm including 90% of the media, okay? It's totally corrupt. And you know that better than anybody, in all fairness, but you probably can't get involved because you want to get a job someday. I don't bring it up. As an example, when we talked Charlottesville, I gave a perfect statement, but they cut off the end of the statement where I talked about that. But you know what? I'm really against Antifa. I'm against the radical left. The radical left are the ones burning down our cities. They're burning down our Democrat-run, stupidly run cities, Greg. The radical left, Antifa. And I'm very much opposed to them. And for some reason, they're guarded by the liberals. I don't know why, but it's not happening much anymore because we're finding a lot of things. But the radical left, Antifa, and those, you look at Portland, it's all Antifa and the radical left.
So the headlines, by the way.
So there's a lot to unpack there. Just to begin with, obviously,
the 90%, right? Like that whole 90% of the news is, I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of embellishments out there, right? Like when it comes to like people's viewpoints or whatever it is, they bring on guests with their own opinions and so on and so forth. But there's one truth, right? Like at the end of the day, and it seems like he's blaming everything to the radical left, So that in general is like propaganda, right? Like like you're gonna blame everybody for them for all the problems in the whole wide world, and you don't want to blame anything with the Proud Boys and some of their actions and some of the other things that he's had in the past. Now he's got a media thing. This is something I've spoke to people about in the past. In order for you to nowadays really get noticed in this society, you have to deal with networks, especially when it comes to promotion and stuff. Like, so if you want to, Google, Facebook, and all these other places are like the gatekeepers. If you can't get past that stuff, then nobody sees what you're spewing. So now some of that, the gatekeepers are news organizations, obviously, right? So he can't get his stuff now through Twitter because of that was a 230 bill, right? It's the 230 bill?
Well, it's specifically because he's holding it hostage for the Section 230 section to be pulled.
Actually signed the bill. He actually signed the bill a little while, or he's agreed to sign the bill. I don't know if he's actually going to do it, but I just saw on Facebook that he's going to sign the bill. That I guess the current one at the 900 billion or whatever it is. I'm not sure exactly like what the status is, but I just saw it pop up. But
when I see it, I'll believe it.
Yeah, me too. But like I said, like he's using his these things as his bully pulpit, right, or whatever it is. He's using these news organizations to rally up his crowd and so on and so forth. Even with Fox News or whatever, they were willing to pay him, I think, $100 million to stop doing things because I think what was it, either OANN or Newsmax ratings were going up while Fox News's were going down. Like they don't want him to obviously join another network when he leaves office or create his own network and become competition to theirs or whatever. So his voice is powerful, and the lies that he says or the exaggerations that he says, I don't want to necessarily say everything's a lie because maybe I don't know everything, but it seems like a lot of it's exaggerating, and there's no way in hell that he knows that it's all Antifa. You know, there's obviously other organizations, and even Antifa is not an organization. It's a belief, even though people want to label it as an organization. You know, he feels like he wants to blame those people, and he's got a you know, media source to do it. But go ahead. I'm sorry. What's your views?
No, I'm actually more interested in how Newsmax has somehow they stemmed a wave where Fox News could have easily overtaken them, and they've been at it for a little bit longer, since 1998.
Mm-hmm.
One of the major things is that Fox News lost over I believe it was $1 billion before they became profitable. So one of the things that these companies don't necessarily have is the pockets to keep themselves up if they don't keep up viewership, and not just viewership. I mean, the whole model has been broken recently. So now you're going to have to get subscribers really in addition to that, to even come close to where, though they claim to be the fourth largest, actually OAN claims to be the fourth largest network.